One of the things about working with animals is that you are on call 24 hours a day, and there's actually work to do quite a bit of the day. With the racehorses, we do the exercise work in the morning, do the boxes in the morning, and most of the work is done in the morning. But we also have what is called evening stables. So if you work in a racing yard, you essentially end up working a split shift. You have to work in the morning, you go home, take your nap, or you go racing, and you come back and you do the evening work. And the evening work consists of mucking out the boxes, having a look at the horses to see if everything's okay, having a look at the legs, giving them hay and food and water, and just making sure everything's okay and that they're going to be all tucked in for the night. If there's rugs to be put on or changed, that's when that happens. If there's anything veterinarian that needs to be done, an injection maybe, or something like that, which is pretty rare, but we take time to do that. Sometimes if we have a horse that needs a nebulization treatment or something like that. We'll start with you, Peanut. So the first thing I want to do when I start my evening stables and open that box is have a look and see what her box tells me, right? Which is, did she eat her hay? Did she drink the water? How much water did she drink? Is her feed bin empty? And it is. So if any of those things aren't right, that's the first thing you'd notice. You want to notice, it's really important that there's a correct amount of droppings. There's enough shit in her box that tells me everything is going through the way it's supposed to. There's probably not any kind of colic going on. And so then I can just do my work. Especially when we do night stable, we keep a really vigilant eye, make sure everything's going through and that we have enough to pick up. Right, Peanut? You want them to have as much hay as they need without wasting any of it. She's put some in front of her door, and she's eaten pretty much the rest of what she has. This is what her box should look like when we're done. Coco, I don't have automatic waterers, and I'm happy with that because I like to see how much a horse is drunk. I'll move the aging dog and right. Now again, I need to give her enough hay to have plenty for overnight without wasting any and making her bed out of it. All of our hay goes through the hay steaming machine to take out the dust and mold spores. That should do you, honey. Okay, last but not least, the legs. Everything feeling okay here. She's good. Now, she's all set. She just needs her evening feed, which happens last when we feed everybody at once. And we start over. This is Dicte Nouvelle, or Newsy, who has a friend. Come on, Clarice. Why don't you go? Clarice bunks with Newsy, and she comes out and wanders around at night stable and plays and eats and harasses the chickens. Wake up, Newsy. So again, I'm seeing that she's had a good amount to drink. There are enough droppings. That's all good. I don't like to tie my horses up when I work with them in their box because I like to see how they move and the interaction that we have. Can I see your feed bin? Yeah, good girl. Good. Everything is gone. Should shit about once an hour. So, depending on when we were last in here, that's how much you should be finding. If you're not finding enough, then you might have a problem. Luckily, we have very few problems with colic. It can happen to anybody, obviously, but we're lucky at the moment. stunned if he did not eat. If a horse like this, you get to know whether they're good eaters or not. The goal is obviously that the manger is licked clean for everyone, which so far tonight it is, and I don't expect it to be otherwise. If for some reason there's crumbs in the bottom or food uneaten, that means we have a problem somewhere. Either it's because I put something in the feed they don't like, which in Ella's case was vitamin C the other day, which is a vitamin C powder is a little bit tart, like a sweet tart, and when it mixes in with the feed, some horses, don't eat that at first. So if I've done something, then I'm not too worried. I'm like, okay, they didn't like what I put in. But if there's nothing new, no change at all in their feed, and there's stuff in the bottom of the manger, there's a problem brewing somewhere. They're a little bit under the weather, we might have a virus, we might have something, but it's a sign for me to be extra vigilant that something might be going on. Maybe some ulcers are starting to brew. We try really hard to avoid ulcers because once you have them, it's a big problem in racehorses. Once you have them, it's kind of hard to manage them. So luckily here, we don't have any big ulcer cases at the moment. We had one that had some ulcers, needed to be on Gastrogard for a little bit, which is an ulcer drug, which is very expensive. You can't race on it. We try to avoid it. So the biggest way to avoid ulcers is to make sure they have hay all the time, minimize the stress with a little bit of turnout, and be really vigilant to what you find in the bucket. Magic is a really big, used to be colt and is just back from gelding, and he's still a colt a little bit, and then he wants everything in his mouth. They get nippy, so we have to make sure that doesn't become a bad habit. The TV, yeah. Come on back. All of the horses have things to distract them. Again, this is an anti-ulcer remedy. If they want to grab something or play with something, we like to give them a stuffed animal or a ball, which they sometimes play with and sometimes don't, but at least they have the option. In his case, it gives him something to do besides turn the light switch on, which is what he was doing before he got Sweetie. So you wake up in the middle of the night and you won't with the light on, it'd be him. Clarice has been in love with Magic for quite some time now. It's mutual. One problem I have yet to solve, and I don't see any good solutions for it, is horses that waste hay. I have two kinds of hay that we alternate, and clearly she got the hay she didn't really like last night. She basically made her bed with it. And once the hay is all mixed in with the shavings like this, and thank you, Clarice, they're not going to eat it anymore. It's finished. And of course, hay's not cheap. But I don't like any of the solutions. Hay nets, horses eat them, they get their feet caught in them, not a good solution. I like to have hay on the ground and free choice hay. So we haven't found a good solution for a balance to not waste hay, but to give them as much as they need or want, or have the choice to eat. Hi, Clarice, you helping? You'll see that this is Night Candle. Wasted a tremendous amount of hay today, which is also a sign too. If she normally eats all the hay and today she's not, that's also a sign of not eating so well. But I think it's just that she got too much of the kind of hay she doesn't like. Her manger is licked clean. You'll see in right above Night Candle's manger is a salt lick. All of our horses either have this salt lick or they have a chunk of a salt lick in the manger so that they can access that. It's just in case if they're not getting enough minerals or enough salt in their normal food, which they usually are, but sometimes they feel they need more. That's just another thing that they have free access to in case they need it. She hasn't really gone after hers very much, so she's not really missing salt. And she's also had plenty to drink today, so. Right, so I'm giving her a bunch of new hay. Pacto, 2-year-old Also an excellent drinker today. Hecto is one of our 2-year-old fillies. This one has a sore shin, which we explained in last week's video. And unfortunately, it's not really getting better because she's a hard horse to slow down. She's feeling really good, she's in really good form, she's changed a lot physically, and it's hard to keep her in training just down to trotting and hack cantering without her being difficult. And she could become a problem because if she chucks her rider and wants to go gallivanting off, it's not going to help that shin at all. So tomorrow, Pacto is going on a vacation, just for a couple of weeks, just to go in the paddock and try to cool that shin down. Okay. This is the last of 3 things today. They're very hungry for their dinner. And if you want to know what's in these buckets, click on the link here. Back up, Custer. Back up. Very hungry. And I do a last check, make sure the water bucket's full, make sure I haven't missed anything. Make sure everybody is eager to eat. Back up now. Yep. Our stable doors have 2 latches on the top and on the bottom. And it's always important to make sure they are both closed. Otherwise, if a horse rolls or gets a leg near the door, it can get through that door and get stuck between the door, caught in the top latch and the bottom. And there have been horrible accidents that way. None have ever happened to me because if I've ever had a top and a bottom latch, they're closed. But there you go. Clarice will know, demonstrate why you want to close that bottom latch. Because if a horse is rolling and a horse's foot is going that way, that foot can come right through there. So now we're going to say, thank you, Clarice, for that little demonstration. Now you can come out and we will latch both doors, both latches. All right. Now that the large animals are taken care of, it's time to do the small animals. Squeaky Wheel gets the grease. Come on, chickens, let's go. Water, that's good. This is the chicken box. We have to close the chickens at night because otherwise we have fox that will eat them. But anyway, they're pretty good about going home. Time and then it's night mouse patrol. Nothing like good quality cat time at the end of night stable. Sammy, you're so cute. Don't be fooled. She's purring, but she's one of nature's finest killing machines. You won't find a better mouser anywhere. Huh? You and your buddy Jazz. This would be the cat play enclosure. Dry food at night, soft food in the morning. But we're missing one cat, and he'll show up at some point. Huh? Sammy, where's that Jazz? So we're done for tonight. Tomorrow morning we get to start it all over again. It's the daily routine. If you're liking the videos, please subscribe, share, like, and ring the bell. Thank you. Next week.